When mortgage rates increase, it affects the sales of new homes first. And that's what we're seeing on the market today. New home inventory is at a 10-month supply. That's pretty high. Of course, you got to keep in mind that that's not all the new homes on the market. They are in some stage of completion and many have been delayed. But what we're seeing is that with higher home prices and higher mortgage rates, it's pricing people out of the market and they're canceling their contracts. So what does this mean to you as a real estate investor? I'm Kathy Fettke and welcome to On the Market's YouTube channel presented by Fundrise. Today I stopped by our subdivision here in Park City to see how things are going, and I thought we could have a little chat with our builder to see how challenging things have been lately. Let's go talk to him. Okay, how has it been being a builder over the past year?
Oh, it's been difficult, and that's probably a big understatement. Supply chain issues have been incredibly tough. You know, every market I believe across the states is probably somewhat different. Here in Utah, we're in Park City, Utah right now. You know, we've had an incredible boom of home sales and demand for homes, which has led to, you know, shortages in supplies. And it has cost everything from lumber to concrete to steel has been difficult to come by the last year.
I mean, the reason that we got you here to finish these homes, these beautiful homes, is that the builder we were working with couldn't get lumber. And
yeah.
we had permits, we were ready to go, ready to start, and I think this was about 18 months ago?
About 16 months ago, and I think it was May or April, late April, early May.
And somehow you had lumber, so we're like, this guy,
yeah.
We're taking him.
It worked out well. We had another project that was sidelined for a reason, not our reason, but for another reason. And I happened to have a lot of lumber lined up, and it was great. We were able to land it on site here and get started with those townhomes over there, and built those all in the last year, and we're able to see all in 12 months. So that was kind of nice.
It's amazing, and I know one of the things you said is, you know, when you're a small builder, it's harder than the bigger builders who can get stuff in warehouses and have the supply in advance, right? But you were still getting stuff a year in advance just to make sure it was here?
Yeah, we were able to sort of think ahead and try and order anything and everything that we could in advance. I mean, we were ordering appliances a year out, knowing that they were going to take a year to show up. And it was similar for windows. It took the ability to sort of look forward. It took a little bit of planning on our part, and we had some fortunate things in our background as builders working in places like Hawaii and remote Oregon and building in places that your supplies aren't readily available. So it wasn't a new concept for us to have to think 6 or 8 months ahead and order supplies to get them here in time. And so I think that helped us really adapt and move through some of the challenges that the supply caused for us. But they've been significant too. Things that would have taken me 8 or 9 months to build in the past are taking me 12 to 14 months now.
Because a lot of people are upset because builders are saying at the very last minute, right before the CO, they're saying, oh wait, we got to raise the price. And people are like, why wouldn't you already know that the price would go up? But you're finding things at the very end, even like concrete.
Yeah, no, it's true. Concrete in just the last 6 months has gone up about $25 a yard. You know, well over a 20% increase. The demand for it has made it so difficult to get that it pushes out it can push you out significantly. You know, 3 or 4 weeks waiting for concrete is a difficult thing to do. But right there at the end, whether it's concrete that changes or you go to get your finished materials, your trim, your doors, we've had those skyrocket on us and become difficult to get. And it does happen right up to the end of the project.
So even till the end, you think you've bid everything out and the prices change. So how does a builder survive in a time like this where how could you possibly bid something out?
It's difficult, I'm not gonna lie. You have to try and look at the market, look at the futures, think about what's coming down the pipe, and then really build contingencies in. And my contingencies have gone from, well, it's just 10% to now I think I put 5% in the bid and then put 10% on top of it. And I know that sounds difficult maybe for some people to hear, but when your HVAC or your plumber comes back to you on a bid that they gave you 6 months ago when you're ready to have them put it in and they say, I'm sorry, my price has gone up 20%. Some way you have to figure out how you're going to account for that.
But we're starting to see some of it come back down?
Yeah,
kind of, but
yeah.
it won't go back to where it was.
It's never going back to where it was, but we're definitely seeing lumber come down. Lumber has moved down, and that's super encouraging for us as builders. We don't love when things get unhealthy, and it got to the point where it was a little unhealthy with lumber last year. And yeah, we've seen it drop, and we hope it continues to do so into the fall.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's going to.
Because when you're in an area like Park City, you have to get things done before winter.
It's incredibly, it's so much more difficult to build here in the winter. And we do build through the winter, but it definitely slows you down.
Yeah.
You know, I'll just give you our December last year really quickly. We got storms about every 3 to 4 days. And what happens when that happens is you just get going and you get some momentum. The storm hits you, you take a day or two to clean up so you can start working again. You just get a day's worth of work in, and then the next storm hits you. So it's a challenge to work here in the winter. We're at 6,800 feet.
I imagine that home prices won't necessarily come down either, because places like Park City and a lot of cities in the US are having trouble getting new supply coming online because of all these delays. And we need more new supply. So I can't imagine that these prices are going to go down. Only seems like they're going to go up over time.
Yeah, I don't see them falling. I think what we've seen is just some return to some normalcy in the market with how long it takes to get through the sales process or to get a home sold. But we are still so far behind the inventory levels that we need for houses. The last number I heard in this state was 32,000 homes that we're behind. So with that type of demand, I just do not see pricing falling.
When you can't build it for less.
No.
And more is needed. So.
Yeah.
So did you fall down the stairs?
Yeah. Yeah. As a builder, you need your hands. Fortunately,
kind of wondering how you're getting stuff done.
Yeah.
Maybe this is the delay.
Fortunately, I don't swing a hammer anymore. So, but I went ahead and broke my hand, thinking I was still a lot younger than I really am. So we'll just leave it at that. So.
Well, I think that these homes could make really cool shared rentals, shared vacation rentals, or Airbnb. Obviously, I mean, on a place like this, it's a 1 week minimum for an Airbnb, but there's lots of demand. And of course, with just Woodward right there.
It's a fantastic project. We're super happy to be here. We fell in love with it when we got a chance to come up and look at it. And the type of product of homes that we're building as a custom home builder, you can't ask for a nicer home or just a little bit different, a little mountain modern feel to it, and to build it in such a beautiful place. And like you said, right next to the Woodward, which is a pretty incredible amenity to have in your development. So.
Yeah.
So in summary, if you're building a new home or doing renovations, it's going to be really important these days to order your materials in advance if you can, because that way you'll have the best chance of bidding right. Otherwise, you just have no idea what things are going to cost these days. And number two, keep your eye on interest rates. It does look like the Fed is going to continue raising rates a few more times, and that could slow the market down a little bit more and make it harder to sell. So have a plan B. And finally, have a contingency plan in case you can't sell. Maybe you want to rent the property or put it on the short-term market. I found a really cool plan B for these properties here in Park City. I called Ember, that's a lot like Picasa, which is shared vacation ownership. It's a really cool concept where you own 1/8 of an ownership of the property. And if you're not using the whole time, then you can put it on the rental market. So you can kind of have a vacation home that's shared with other owners, but also get some income from it. So I called Ember. They love the idea. They want to buy the property and still give us 1/8 of the ownership, which kind of turns out with all the equity from building it that we would own that 1/8 of the property without really any of our own money. So that's really something cool to look into, shared vacation rentals. I've also talked to some other people in the industry who maybe want to do masterminds and want to have space to have lots of people. And if they're able to acquire the homes next to ours, then that would be several homes where you could have big masterminds or have short-term rentals for people who are getting married and want lots of space, or have special events or family reunions. So having a plan B is a great idea if you're in the new home market, or if you're doing flips and don't don't know what to do with them because you can't sell them for the price that you wanted at this time. So another opportunity that this presents for investors is that if builders are scared about bringing on new inventory because they want to get rid of the inventory they already have, they want to sell what they have in the pipeline, that means that they're not bringing on new supply. And we know that we already have a supply shortage today. Listings are way down. That's because people don't want to sell their home that they're living in when they have low interest rates locked in, low payments. And if they were to sell their house, they'd have to find another house that is probably more expensive with a higher interest rate. So people are staying put. That means listings are down. Builders are slowing down, not bringing on new supply, which means the inventory problem is still here. And the opportunity is that investors can now find existing homes that need renovation and be able to bring on new supply, bring on something that looks like a new home, but it's an existing home that's just been renovated. So there's always opportunity. You just have to look for it. And also with new home builders, many of them are discounting, so it's a really good time to be able to get a rental property that's brand new. So in closing, we know new home builders are having a tough time, and that means if you want to buy a new home, you might be able to get a discount. If you are trying to sell a new home or you're trying to sell a home that you just renovated, it could be tough, so have that plan B. There's lots of options for you out there. Consider holding it, because when the market turns around, and it will eventually, you will want to be able to sell it for a better price than you might get today. And besides, there is a great need for rental property because supply is down. All right, well, if you have any comments, please leave them below. I'm Kathy Fettke, and thanks so much for joining me here for On the Market's YouTube channel, presented by Fundrise.